everyone, I'm Joanna. Thank you for tuning in to another yard sale finds video. In this one I'm going to talk about framed art. So today I want to show you some things that I'm about to take to my antique booth, some framed art that I just picked up, and I'll tell you a little bit about each piece. So if you look behind me, you'll see that I have a lot of sheet music and different cutouts that I've framed myself. So something that I've learned to do, and I do quite a lot of, is when I see a good price on frames at garage sales or yard sales, and when I say a good price, I mean 25 cents, 50 cents for a frame. And if it's the kind of frame that I'm looking for, I don't just want any old frame, plastic frame. I want a vintage or an antique frame. I want something that's wooden and chippy and aged, or I want something that's brass or vintage or fancy or cute or collectible in some way. Those are the kind of frames that I look for, and those are the kind of frames that I sell really well. And another thing that I always buy when I see this at sales, I always buy ephemera. I love to see paper pieces that have survived through the years. So vintage newspaper ads or magazines, sheet music. I really love sheet music, especially antique, really delicate, colorful sheet music. So, and of course, I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. I like to take the frames and place them with the perfect ephemera to go in them. So where I can pick up a whole lot of ephemera, maybe I can get a whole box of magazines or, a whole box of old sheet music for a few dollars. I can get my frames for 25 or 50 cents, and then I can sell all of these things piece by piece for anywhere from $7 to $9. So it's a pretty good profit, as well as being a really fun hobby that I'm starting to get into. This is just me, but I'm really a sucker for anything German. I actually spent a little time studying abroad in Germany and picked up a little Deutsch. So if I ever see anything German, I just have to have it. And this was from one particular yard sale. The woman was selling vintage birthday cards in Deutsch. So for example, this one says Zum Geburtstag, which is happy birthday in German. They're these beautiful, colorful little birthday cards. And then I found these beautiful little wood chippy vintage frames, and I think the coloring and everything just looks perfect, and I got really excited. They were the perfect size, so I can sell something like this for $7. So this one here, this is just a magazine ad. I loved the frame. I thought the size and everything was perfect for this little vintage brass frame. I'm guessing the photo is probably 1940s or 50s, but it's this cute couple. They're out on the golf course, and I love what they're wearing. It really shows the time period, and I just thought it was so cute. So then here I have just a beautiful piece of 1930s sheet music. It's a very recognizable composer, Irving Berlin. It shows a little bit of age, which I love, and I found this nice, heavy, beautiful frame to put it in. So I love these little tiny frames. Probably because I'm not a minimalist and I just love a lot of little kitschy tchotchkes all over the place, but I thought this was super cute. Again, this is just a magazine clipping, but it's a little fairy. It's a topless fairy, and she's just sort of sitting beside a little pond, and it's enchanting. It sort of takes you away. So I think someone's really gonna love this. I have this other little frame, but this one actually came with a picture in it. And I thought the picture was so good and so perfect that I'm just gonna sell it with the picture in it. I hope that whoever this is will forgive me. She's probably no longer living. I'm guessing this is probably the 1900s to 1910s. It's this woman, and she's got this long, flowy prairie dress on. She's got this little smirk on her face, and it just looks overall really nice and pleasant, and it sort of takes you back to that time and that place, which is what I love to do with the things that I sell in my booth. So at a recent auction, I bought a whole box of antique postcards, and these are probably late 1800s, so they're really old. And to me, it's always amazing when a piece of paper can survive for so long. This one is a hummingbird. It's so beautiful and vibrant and colorful, and it's got the 1800s mark on it, which I love. So I thought that looked perfect in that little frame, and I think someone's really gonna love this. Sometimes I like to find advertisements in papers that go with things that I'm selling. So if I find a really great piece, like this rotary phone, I will search through all of my collections of magazines and papers, and I'll try to find an advertisement or something that I can place beside that phone or that piece to really give it a little more context and a little more character. So this one happens to be an advertisement for Bell Telephone Company, and it looks like the same phone, which is great. It's funny, a lot of times when I go to take care of my booth, I'll see people in the booth and they're handling the phones like I just did. They pick it up and hello, and remember the time when. I don't think anyone from my generation ever thought that there would be a time when people wouldn't know what this was or how to use this. If you go to any hobby store or craft store, a frame like this will cost you $25 easily. But I find these all the time at yard sales, and I get them for $1 to $2. It's a wood frame. It's got that really nice shiny varnish on the top of it, but it's also made to look distressed and chippy, and it's perfect. So I'll either find paintings at sales that are unframed, and I'll just buy these in hopes of finding those and put the two together, or I might make something or paint something. I might talk my daughter into painting something. So I can sell this by itself if I just want to resell it for probably $15. But with the right piece of art that I find and put inside of it, the value could go increasingly up. Certain types of advertising is highly collectible. Tobacco happens to be one of those things. And that's probably because, as you know, through history, there have been many limitations placed on advertising tobacco. For example, we no longer have tobacco advertisements on television. So, and also you don't usually find too many things nowadays that don't have a Surgeon General's warning on them. So a lot of people collect tobacco products, tobacco ads, and different things. This one happens to be a really cute one for a company called Chesterfield. It's just really cute, and I think someone will like that. Also, I sell a lot of tobacco tins. So this would be a great piece that I could just frame and use as a prop and put behind my tobacco tins. Now this one here, as you can probably tell, it's cute, it's not old. And I just wanted to point out that when you have an antique booth, you don't have to have all antiques in it. And if you've ever visited my booth, you know that that's not the case. I have a really good mix, some vintage, some antique, some just in general cute and collectible. And this particular thing would fall under the more cute and collectible category. It's just a cute mock-up of an old phone. But then I did find an antique cutout magazine print to put inside, and I thought that gave it a little bit more charm. But I think someone would buy something like this just for the frame. Now this one, I don't know what it was about this. So this is a mid-1800s cover of a piece of sheet music, but this woman scares me, and I just love it. It looks haunted. Something else I might mention is that the mall where I do business is a certified haunted spot. And I love to put anything in my booth that would really play that up and appeal to the customers who are coming in. Maybe not so much because they're antique shoppers or collectors, but because they really want to see if there are ghosts there. This is one of my favorite pieces. It is a real oil painting. It's so vibrant, yet it's also muted and just romantic and fancy. I love these frames, these big giant frames. Having a frame like this on a painting can be a telltale sign that painting or that piece of art is older. In older times, they really used to care about putting the perfect frame with that piece of art. But let me tell you the story about this painting. So I got it recently. It was at a garage sale. It was a garage sale that I visited halfway through the day. the sun was beating down on this painting, and it was just sort of sitting on the driveway, and I ran over to it like I wanted to, you know, rescue it from the sun. And I started looking at it and really seeing the beauty. And so I turned around and I asked the owner, tell me about that painting. But she said, all this stuff was my mother's. I don't really know anything about it, but I just want to get rid of all this stuff. And so I said, well, would you take $10 for it? And she was so excited. She thought that was great. And she said, yeah, absolutely. I could not believe I got this beautiful painting for $10. This is one of those things that I'm on the fence with because I love it so much. I may sell it. If I do sell it, I would have no problem getting $150 or more off of it. But I love it so much that I really might keep it. So I have a woman that comes to my booth that she collects anything nautical, and she's always asking me, when you're out going to sales, please look for anything nautical for me, anything with ships on it or lighthouses, anything like that. So these are for her, and I'm sure that she'll buy these right away. These are not mass-produced prints. They are actual watercolor pieces of art. I found 2 of them at one sale. They were sitting out by the curb. Again, the sale was almost over, and the guy had $2 price tags on each of them. This is one of those things that I just can't wait to take to the mall because it makes me so happy to connect people with the treasures that they look for. So I can't wait to see her face when she sees these watercolor prints, and I can't wait to tell her that I picked them out just for her. I have one last thing that I wanted to show you. This little beauty. So this came from a community yard sale, and it came from one of those houses that had like 2 things for sale. So you ever go to those community yard sales, sometimes they have just tables and clothes and all kinds of tchotchkes. Those are the ones I usually like to go to, not the ones that have like 1 chair or 1 washing machine. And that was the case for this sale, but I saw this. This was the thing that caught my eye, and I did the little thing where my heart started thumping, and I just started, you know, running up the driveway to ask about this. And so the woman was standing there, and I said, tell me about this piece. What do you know about this? She said it came from an old hall tree. So a hall tree it used to be a really staple, fundamental piece of furniture that was in everyone's homes about 100 years ago. So it was set in the hall or an area right by the front door. You walk in, it's usually a piece like this that's attached to a bench seat on the bottom. And this is where you would hang your hat, and you would sit on the bench, and you would take off your boots or whatever and give yourself a little look to see if everything was in order, and everyone had one. So it's this beautiful glass etching within the frame that gives it that cloudy, far away look, and also just a little bit of fancy character. They kept the original heavy hardware pieces. These are the sort of things you would find at a restoration hardware type place. But I love the old screws and the old heavy hardware. And then the thing that I probably love the most about this is the floral wreathing and vining on the top. And I love how the artist, the painter, actually distressed around so you could continue to see the detail within each flower petal. And they also distressed around so that you can see the original wood in the background. I got this for $20, and I'm thinking a good value for this item would be about $125. So I think that's where I'll start it out at, and then we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching our video. We are Antique Startup, and we would love to connect with you. So you can find us online, and you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Antique Startup. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to show you the next video.